Good day, my dear students. This is the second and the last asynchronous discussion that will be included in the final exams since the final exams week will be held next week. So this is only where our discussion ends. So our topic for this session is all about solid waste. So before that, allow me to share my screen. Ayan. Okay. So this discussion, parts of this discussion has been taken from the same book where I got my lecture from the previous one. And also, other portions of this lecture was taken from um, some of our um, lecture PowerPoints in one of our solid waste management campaigns when I was taking up a master's degree. So we had this online webinar about solid waste management. So um, we talked about the introduction of solid waste, what are the best practices, what is the current status in the Philippines. So I just got a little bit of um, points from one PowerPoint to another and then compiled the important things here in this lecture that we have. Okay, why can't it move to the next slide? Yeah, wait lang ha. Okay. So what is waste? Waste is actually a very simple term, di ba? We usually associate waste with uselessness, di ba? So we discard it because it doesn't have any importance for us as the end user of it. So waste in somehow a layman term is any discarded material that lacks use or importance from the end user. So actually, there are different types of waste, and the most familiar type of solid waste is the municipal solid waste. This waste from comes from our homes, businesses sectors, restaurants, cafes, um, all of the different types of businesses, diba? SM, different pa namang ano, and institutions such as the government agencies, hospitals, schools, etc. But there are also other sources of waste that um, somehow has been overlooked or we have, shied away from. These are the construction and demolition debris, agricultural waste, and industrial process waste. So actually, the municipal solid waste, according to Hill's book, just constitutes to 3%, di ba? Only 3% of all the waste that are generated globally. So that is just a very small portion of the waste that we generate as a society, di ba? But it is directly important, the municipal solid waste is important to us as humans because its composition and amount is the result of our norms and behaviors, di ba? So, kung ano yung pangalan niyan, activities natin, nagre-reflect doon kung ano yung mga types of waste din na nage-generate natin and how much waste um, and the composition of those waste. Wait lang, I'll just charge my laptop. Okay, going back, why do we really generate so much, 'di ba, of waste? So let's say, for example, we produce metals. So metals are very important because um, it has been linked, 'di ba, to our everyday activities. The cell phones that we use have metals in it. The electricity, 'di ba? Nag-brown out pa nga lang, 'di ba? So, where does the electric current, pangalan, flow? It is in metal wires. Ano pa? Our computers, our laptops, even the guitars, even the cabinets have metal doorknobs, 'di ba? So, this is very important in pangalan yan. Even in our mundane lang na mga activities. So, how is metal being refined para magamit siya in our everyday usage? So, first, we do mining. Then, from mining alone, we even generate much of the waste na na-associate natin from metal production. These are the overburden and waste rock. So when you say overburden, this is the soil that has been disturbed during the mining activity. So like for example, if you've done strip mining, so the surface, topsoil, and even up the next layer of that soil that has been disturbed is even considered now as a waste. And then aside from that is the waste rock. So kung ano yung mga rocks na nandoon that are not considered as mineral or mineral ores or metal ores, I mean. So these are the portions of the these are the waste that has been generated from the mining activity alone. Tapos, if this is not managed well, it can cause disturbances to the community, like for example, when there is flooding. So, like soil erosion will be rampant in the area, or flash floods, rock slides, something like that, di ba? So, aside from that, after you have gotten the metal ore, di ba? The metal ore is still not refined enough pa. Meron pa yan siyang marami pang dala-dalang ibang mga, hindi naman contaminants, yung basta hindi kasama sa sa kailangan mo na metal na kinukuha mo sa pagmamine. So, you have to process it, undergo smelting, something like that. Tapos, para makuha mo talaga yung needed na metal that you want. So, from those processing, you will still generate waste such as tailings, logs, and leached ores until meron ka nang makukuha na refined metal. So, imagine, marami pa rin na-degenerate na pangalan na wastes, even from the production of the raw material that we use, di ba, in our products, just technology-based na mga products ngayon. Next, for example, in paper, let's see the waste stream of papers. So, in schools, we use papers a lot, di ba? In our books, yellow papers, notebooks, even the, documents that our faculty and staff use. So, very important ang mga papers. But, before we get the final product, which is the paper, di ba? Where we write everything down and all, meron pa ring mga wastes that we haven't seen. Di ba? Like for example, from the forest and then from cutting that tree, meron ka na generate na mga wastes, like yung mga char, mga pangalan yan, sawdust and all. And then from pulping, kapag parang, yung ginagawa na siyang very thin namang sheets, pulping. Meron ding mga waste na na-generate, such as yung effluent sludge, kasi inaano mo yan siya, pangalan yan. Para siyang sinusoak sa water, and then lignin. Lignin is a component of, pangalan yan, plants in their secondary cell walls. Yes, in biology we discussed that. And then in the purification and refining of those paper sheets, you will still get waste such as the reject pulp, diba? Yung hindi mo talaga magagamit for the production of paper. And then in paper making, meron ding mga reject na papers and sludge, yung sludge, di ba? And then, after that, meron ka ng paper that, what is sold in the stores na kailangan natin, kung na sinusulatan natin. Then, when the paper is consumed, after that, nagiging waste na yung paper. So, parang everything has become waste, di ba? From time to time in the waste stream. And then lastly, in paper recycling, not everything can be recycled. So yung mga inks, di ba? Yung mga sludge nun, those are still considered as waste. How about in food? Okay. So, wait lang. Let's just look at the screen sharing kasi baka how do I wait lang ha? Something like this. Share. Okay. Okay. Wait lang. How do I move me kun doon sa taas. Ayan. Okay. Saan na tayo? Okay. So, even the food that we get or buy from the supermarkets, diba? Before it ended up in those aisles, maraming waste na napoproduce from, like for example, the transportation alone, the picking, segregation of, kung saan doon yung mga reject or not. And then in the pangalan yan, in storage, 'di ba? Sometimes kasi kahit naka-cold storage siya, like for example, the sibuyas, meron pa ding mga pangalan niya, nag-overripe or nag-aano na sila, nagsisprout and also pangalan yan, kailangan na naman yung i-segregate. And then in the transportation, kapag hindi na maganda yung itsura niya, so ano na naman yun? Another waste na naman. And then, lastly, nandoon na siya sa aisle ng supermarket. When it doesn't get sold, then another na naman na food waste. So, imagine, even only a small portion of the food that we actually produce from the farm is actually taken use of or has a use of. And much of it is actually, pangalan yan, para siyang napuput into vain, di ba? Yung much of our input, the fertilizers, the time, kasi nagiging food waste din naman yung iba. Okay, that's it. And the next, lastly, in chemicals. In oil refining, so like for example, the production of diesel, ano pa, unleaded, premium, yes, even yung Vaseline, di ba? So, pangalan yan, there is still waste that can be generated from it, but only a little bit, 0.1, because in every step of the way, you have a use of that oil. So like for example, sa pangalan yan, in the oil refinery process, yung pinaka hindi refined, that is the crude oil, and then after the diesel, and then next is this and that, and so on and so forth. Yes. And then, much of products has been produced. But as we go lower the table from oil refining to bulk chemicals, when you say bulk chemicals, chemicals that we can produce in bulk, like for example, benzene, fine chemicals, up to pharmaceutical chemicals. As you can see, the tons of products that you can produce has declined, while the waste that it generates has inclined. Okay? So, para siyang nagkakaroon siya ng inverse na relationship on the waste to product ratio. So, as pangalan yan, the process gets more complex, like for example, in producing pharmaceutical, chemicals, the chemicals that we use in our medicines, yes, and all, something like that. Kasi kailangan natin ng very concentrated, wala nang iba na mga pangalan yan. Antagonize, di ba? Nakaka-antagonize ng effect ng ng active na chemical na yon. So, kailangan mo talagang i-refine siya. So, mas dumadami yung waste na napuproduce mo. Na-remember pa yung synergism and antagonism, di ba? Sa first na lecture discussion natin. Okay, now let's move on to the municipal solid waste because pangalan yan. Much of the discussion that will be included here is about the municipal solid waste. So when you say municipal solid waste, most of the portion that is generated or composition of the municipal solid waste come from the household wastes, diba? Or from our households, the residential na mga areas. So what are these types, or what are these wastes that we generate from our homes? So food, paper, newspapers, packaging, bottles, metal cans, batteries, grass clippings. When you say grass clippings, diba nagaano kita nag-grass cutter, so gaditon. Ay, nag-grass cutter every month, yes. So yung mga pangalan niyan, hisilhig na to, muna siya grass clippings, yard waste, clothing, furniture, appliances, paint, batteries, and even mga hazardous na mga wastes. So meron din tayong napoproduce na mga hazardous waste even at in our homes, like residual paints, or pangalan yan, oils, like the oils that we use in our motorcycles or cars, like yeah, and pesticides. And then in some references, they also include yung pangalan yan, construction and demolition debris in the municipal solid wastes. And aside from that, in other references, they also include these sludges. When you say sludge, yung nabilin bitaw. It's a great term, ana. Basta murag lumot-lumot nga nabilin. Pero di man siya lumot nga kay black and murag soil, yes. Concentrated soil component, something like that. From our drinking water treatment, wastewater treatment plants in our municipalities, septic tank sludge, di ba? Kailangan every 15 years ba yun or 10 years na i-pump talaga yung septic tanks kasi para makuha yung sludge. And then medical and slaughterhouse waste and even fast food grease. So what are the sources of municipal solid waste? We have our households, government offices, schools, hospitals, even prisons, businesses, stores, restaurants, hotels, and industries. So some, manufacturing plants, but not those chemical or mga industrial process na mga wastes that have different and specified na yan ng mga pangalan yan, waste management practices specific to that manufacturing company na kailangan nilang gawin and i-comply. Okay, so why is solid waste management important? So what would happen, di ba, if there is no solid waste management imposed in a place? So there are three impacts of unmanaged municipal solid waste. So it would affect our health and then our environment. And also, it is actually a missed opportunity for income. So when it comes to human health, unmanaged municipal solid waste could become breeding grounds, di ba, of insects or pathogen-carrying bacteria, pathogens, germs, and some pangalan yan. Some animals like rats, ano pa, or dogs or cats that could, loiter these unmanaged na mga solid waste could spread the diseases to us. So that's why we have to manage our solid waste properly. And then, if we just burn our, our municipal solid waste, it could emit, diba, air pollutants. Remember in one of our laboratory activities, we have quantified the amount of nitrogen oxides and carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide content that is emitted by different types of pangalan yan, materials such as plastics, even wood, di ba? So yes, and then aside from that, it could be a threat to stray animals and wildlife. So as you can see here in the picture, the turtle is carrying a plastic. Yeah. There are a lot of reports where strandings of whales, pangalan yan. And then when they have opened up their, their guts, they have seen plastics inside those whales. Ano pa ba? Mga sea lions that have been stranded in nets, seabirds that have ingested bits of plastics, even sea turtles na nagkaroon ng stuck na na straw in its nose. Yes. And then many more. And then aside from that, the leachate, when you say leachate, it is the water that comes from the filters, that comes from or filters through the waste. So, nag-uwan. Tapos, ting agi tubig, nag-percolate, na. So, it would now carry chemicals from these disposal sites that could contaminate our environment, such as our soil and our water bodies, like, our surface water and even our groundwater. So, yes. And then lastly, in our socio-economic na pangalan yan, sector, inadequate solid waste management practices can be costly. Why? Because it is a missed opportunity for economic growth. Well, some portions of waste can still be recycled, upcycled, or taken to, energy intensive na mga plants where they can be, pangalan yan, transformed into heat, and then ano pa, it could also ruin the aesthetics of a place. If, for example, it is a tourist spot, so why would you go there if it has a lot of, pangalan, solid wastes, 'di ba? So, nade-discourage yung mga tourists. And then also, if you have unmanaged waste kasi, it links also to the different diseases that the society might contract. So, more costs in health na mga pangalan yan, healthcare. So, if you are managing your solid wastes properly, it's like checking one box indirectly when it comes to our healthcare system, diba? Kasi, pangalan yan, it prevents a lot of diseases such as some respiratory issues, asthmas, pangalan yan, pneumonias, marami pa, skin diseases, and other healthcare concerns associated with inadequate solid waste management practices. So in the Philippines, what has been the trend of our municipal solid waste generation? So as of 2020, we have generated 21.4 million tons of waste for that year. And it is expected that by next year, on 2025, we will generate 23.6 million tons. So imagine, ang dami-dami. So we need to upgrade our technologies and policies in managing our municipal solid waste. And then, of course, let's look at our ranking, diba? World ranking when it comes to plastic waste production. So according to Jumbeck et al. 2015, Philippines is ranked as the third plastic polluter in the world. But actually, when I attended the Prime TP training, this has been contested because pangalan yan, let's say sabi pa lang ng international na research group ganito ganyan, then we would pangalan yan, we would accept it like without looking at it critically kasi according to pangalan yan, our scientists in MSI, when they go to the West Philippine Sea and all, and then they have encountered different types of waste in the islands or islets there. And then if you look at the, the labelings or where those plastics have come from, most of them are written in Chinese, gani. So, is it really us? Or were we just mislabeled? Something like that. So, yeah. And it's a question that, is interesting to be pondered on. So, yeah, next. And then also another study from Lebreton et al. Pasig River is ranked as the 8th most polluting river of our oceans. Diba? The Pasig River of the Philippines. Yes. So, what are some of the best practices that we can do in order to prevent or, well, mitigate or at least lessen our impact, diba, to our environment, especially to our oceans, which has become, the central basin of all, diba? Kasi whatever is happening there in the upland, it is the ocean that receives everything. So every waste, every plastic, and pangalan yan, since plastic is non-biodegradable, it takes lots and lots of years. So you can actually say that virtually, except lang yung mga na-burn na ng mga plastic, virtually every plastic that has been made, diba? Even in the 1950s, are still existing as until now. And yeah, where do they go? In the end, that's in the ocean. So first is we need to look meticulously on our waste stream. So when you say waste stream, it is actually the flow of waste from its source through its recovery or recycling or pangalan yan, even up to the disposal. So I have here a diagram of the waste stream in one country. It is in Jordan. So this is solid waste, municipal solid waste stream. You can see that informal sectors also have a large role in diverting the wastes, di ba? Aside from the formal sectors in the municipalities and private companies. So when you say informal sectors, these are the scavengers, the ano yung tinatawag sa atin dito? Yung puthaw plastic lata, yes, something like that. Junk shops, yes. And then they collect this recyclable na mga waste and then sell this to agents, and then where factories can, pangalan yan, repurpose those recyclable na mga wastes. Okay. Next, after you have looked upon the waste stream of an area, then now let's look upon its waste characterization. So before you make policies, interventions, frameworks, you need to have a baseline assessment of the current waste stream in order for you to understand what are the necessary and pangalan yan, necessary and tama, right na mga resources that you need to gather, di ba? In order to solve your current na waste management issues. So, like for example, if in your baseline assessment, you have found out that there are a lot of biodegradables, then you will invest in projects that focuses on pangalan yan, composting, diba? Or anaerobic digestion, to focus on the biodegradables. You will not invest in other fancy na mga things such as pangalan yan, energy conversion ng mga ng mga facilities, kasi much of the proportion of the waste that you generate are biodegradables, diba? So para at least thinking yung yung solution na ginagawa mo, dapat meron kang data, 'di ba? At first. And that is the importance of the waste audit that we are doing in our class. So just for the information of everyone, the data in the waste audit will be used as a basis on the zero plastic policy that will be imposed in the university. Okay, so I hope by now you have already, realized that aside from the theories that has been, imparted onto you, it is also important to, take action, diba? Even in the simple things or like problems that we can see in the pangalan yan. Anong term nun? Yung yes, in the community where we belong to. So yeah. So why is waste characterization important? Aside from getting an idea of what the waste is generated, how much waste is generated, where do this waste came from? You could also use that data if you have a long-term data. You can use that to project the amount of waste that you will produce in the future. So at least you can now prepare, diba, for some projects or investments for the next coming years. And then also, aside from that, you will have an idea on what other special types of wastes are there that has been, parang overlooked upon. Like for example, in our school, like the e-waste, computer wastes. So what should we do about it? Something like that. Okay. So according to studies, the waste composition from one place to another is actually different. So there is no, pangalan yan, single blueprint of pangalan yan, of solutions that can solve the problem of each and every place that you go to. Because pangalan yan, different kasi yung activities ng pangalan yan, from one place to another. Different din yung mga economic nila na mga pangalan yan, practices. Like for example, if we compare Tacloban and here in Hinunangan, so we would assume that mas marami yung mga pangalan yan, wastes nila to recyclables, because marami yung mga restaurants, and then pangalan yan, yung mga offices, napakamarami doon, di ba? And then business hub siya. While here in Hinunangan, we could, have a hypothesis na more on biodegradable wastes. Yung na-generate natin in much percentage or mas malaking percentage. Kasi first, we're the rice granary, di ba? Here in Southern Leyte, and then also, hindi pa naman masyadong marami yung mga establishments natin. So, according to, saan ko ba ito kinuha? Basta sa report namin doon sa webinar, low-income countries have larger composition of food waste and green waste. So, ito yung sa mga leaves, mga pangalan yan, agricultural na mga wastes. And then, if you go higher and higher and higher na income, then, naglo-lower na yung food and green waste. And then, mas nagiging, pangalan yan, lumalaki na yung mga recyclables, papers, yes, and cardboards. Kasi, much of its activities, di ba, yung mga economic activities na, is linked to jobs. Jobs in the offices, jobs in, pangalan yan, businesses, yes. Next is, ano to? In the Philippines, since, we're still a developing country, so biodegradables pa rin yung much of our composition of our waste. And then next is recyclables, then residuals, and special wastes. So as you can see, there are only 4 categories of waste that is imposed here in our country. And then, where do these wastes come from? Much of the percentage of waste came from our homes, households, diba? And then second is from our commercial na mga buildings. And then next is our institutional na mga infrastructures. So like our offices, government agencies, schools, and lastly, from industrial na mga plants or factories. If in the Philippines, we only impose 4, diba, categories. Mind you, in one of the towns in Japan, which is in Kamikatsu, they have 45 categories of waste. And each and every citizen or resident in that town are obliged to follow this waste segregation scheme that they impose. So they really take time to segregate their wastes. Even, for example, we have a plastic bottle. The plastic bottle has 3 types of waste according to them. So it's the body, and then the cup, and also the wrappings. So, iniisa-isa nila yan. So, imagine, yung mga napoproduce mo ng mga household waste, you have to segregate it. Be familiar with the 45 categories of waste. As because they are aiming to become a zero waste town. If you have some time, it is actually interesting to, read your, if you're an avid reader, this link in Washington Post, even their breweries, their cafes, they are zero waste, practicing zero waste. Their hotels, um, are, pangalan yan, yung mga furnishings of their rooms are from upcycled and recycled, repurposed na mga materials coming from their wastes. And then they also have their own waste segregation facility in their town. And it's actually quite interesting because the one that manages it is only I don't know kung kailan ba to. Last year. 24 years old. Basta in that report, 24 years old pa lang. So like same age as mine. It's like, huh? Diba? So even the new generation of residents in their locality are serious in their advocacy to become a zero waste town. How about in our country? So we actually have this law, the Republic Act 9003, or the Ecological Solid Waste Management Act of 2000. And pangalan yan, in this law, parang kinategorize yung different na mga strategies that you must do in the waste stream. And then, yes. And that's what we call as the waste management hierarchy. So, Although it is a very systematic and comprehensive na management program, but unfortunately, the implementation of this act or law is very lenient, di ba? Even in the segregation of our wastes. Hindi nga natin ito na-follow, di ba? You have experienced this firsthand in your waste audit. So, yes, we really have a long way ahead pa talaga when it comes to, taking environmental laws at heart. Yeah. Sige. So there are actually four components or like active groups of the RA 9003. We have the National Solid Waste Management Commission, which is assigned for the making of the policy. And then the local government units are assigned for the implementation and the enforcement of this law. And then the EMB for the monitoring, the data assessment, collection, also enforcement and technical support, and lastly, us, the citizens, for the compliance. But are we really complying? Even I myself am guilty to this. Because, like for example, in our household, um, medyo nag-aano naman ng waste segregation, pero usually yung ano lang, pangalan niyan, mga cans, plastic bottles. Pero when it comes to the residuals, parang nasasalin na talaga siya with the other solid waste such as food wastes and other biodegradable household wastes. Just for your information, there are a lot of prohibited acts in this law, such as like, for example, loitering and throwing. You will be fined 300 pesos to 1,000 pesos or 1 to 15 days of community service, in which, in my opinion, parang wala nga di ba? Wala nga na nasasampulan nito or hindi talaga to siya ini-impose. Open burning. So when you say open burning, just burn your leaves, trashes. That is 300 to 1,000 pesos. Yan. Unsegregated na wastes. Collection of unsegregated wastes, 1,000 to 3,000 pesos. So that is the reason why I think parang inaano to sa munisipyo na no segregation, no collection. Diba? Parang gano'n. Ano pa? Establishment or operation of open dump sites. So 1 to 3 years of imprisonment. So in the CLUP, municipalities are obliged to transform or pangalan yan, transfer their waste disposal from open dump sites to landfills, sanitary landfills. Because in sanitary landfills, much more protected yung environment mo. And then, hindi lang parang basta-basta na kahit ano yung dinidispose mo doon. Yes. Yan, just read na lang the other na mga prohibited acts in this law. Yan, construction and or operation of landfills or waste disposal facilities near aquifers. So, dapat hindi siya malapit sa sources of water. Okay. So, after your waste characterization, then you already have a policy. And then what's included in this policy? It is the waste Hala, hindi ko na nasali. Hala, nawala. Wala. Or wait lang. Wala, nawala. It is the waste management hierarchy. Sige. So, the waste management hierarchy actually includes the different interventions that you must do depending on the type of waste that you are dealing with. And then also, pangalan yan, yung goal din ito is as much as possible, as you go down the hierarchy, konti na lang yung waste na naiiwan mo. Kasi, pangalan yan, much expenses kasi yung naaano mo dito sa treatment and residuals management. So, as much as possible in the, management, segregation, recycling, composting, nadadivert mo na yung other types of waste. So, first, in the, pangalan yan, in the hierarchy, we have waste prevention and minimization. So, in layman's term, we have to avoid, refuse, reduce, and reuse. Diba? Yung ano lang na alam natin, reduce, reuse, recycle. But actually, first talaga is refuse. Diba? When you say refuse, if it's needed, then don't buy it. Diba? If, for example, you can just get a water from a water refill, from, ang pangalan yan, water stations in your office, that it isn't necessary anymore for you to buy a bottled water, then do so, diba? That's one way of refusing. Reduction, and then reuse. When I was in my master's degree, malala pa talaga yun, yung pangalan yan, pag-refuse ko ng mga plastic waste. Kasi, nagbe-bring talaga ako ng food container. Tapos, like, when I buy in carinderias or, the foods vendors, pero ano kasi, ini-impose or ini-encourage din yun ng mga food vendors there in UP kasi, or especially doon sa directly in front of DNR. So, yeah. Para hindi na po para ma-minimize yung pag-use ng plastic. Yung plastic bag. Yes. Plastic sachet. I don't know. Yes. So what are the types of waste that are included here? It is the food waste, packaging materials, and disposable products. So what are some best ways to prevent these wastes or minimize our generation of these wastes? So we have to integrate some, creative na mga social norms or mga economic na mga tactics or market conditions. So like for example, pangalan yan, umuso na yung tote bags, di ba? So, yung mga tote bags, ginagawa na rin nating bags for groceries, our packagings, yung much na yung ginagamit natin is po mga pangalan yan, at least renewable in a way. Ano pa? Yes, eto, saging na lang yung ginagawang packaging. And then, there are some stores wherein you could refill na lang. So like for example, in Tacloban, there is this certain store na you could just, bring your bottle and then you could refill na some liquid detergents, um, ano pangalan yun yung parang Downy? Fabric conditioners. And then in, developed countries, they literally have food banks or pangalan niyan, yung mga restaurants nila, they offer free food na medyo papaano na siya, pangalan niyan, hindi na yung class A, something like that. Pero can still be eaten, something like that, 'di ba? Para at least ma-reduce yung food wastage. And then next is organic waste management. So what are the organic wastes na included here? So these are the kitchen wastes, garden wastes, and food wastes. So of course, you have to segregate this from the rest of the wastes that you generate, diba? And then after you have segregated it, you need to compost it. And if your facility or your institution has an anaerobic digestion na technology, then much better. Yes. So what is this anaerobic digester? So you can actually put different types of wastes here. Your food waste, other organic wastes, your biosolids, yung mga sludge from your wastewater, manure of, the cows, chickens, livestock, and then you let it be digested by the anaerobic bacteria, and then syempre, close to siya. And then, it generates biogas where you can get your fuel from your, stove, cooking, and all. Even, you can also use this if you have an electric car, pangalan yan, or electricity, ano pa ba? Kaya electric car, hindi electric car. For fuel for your cars, and then um the parang the solid dry component of it, di ba? Of course, meron yung digestate. You can use it as a fertilizer afterwards. And then after composting, so nakuha na yung much of the biodegradables, di ba? So dito na tayo sa mga non-biodegradables or even mga recyclables. So the recyclables include papers, aluminum, steel, plastics, batteries, glass, used motor oil, tires, and electronic wastes. And they can be collected by formal or informal sectors. These could be processed and sorted and then sold by those agents and then to the manufacturing companies. They can repurpose it or reuse it, or they can pangalan yan, nakalimot ako, put it to the next level wherein pangalan yan. Ay, usually kasi mga non-recyclable such as residuals yung ginagamit for energy. Oh, hindi na lang pala. Oo. Yun, for remanufacturing. So here is the general process of recycling. So like for example, from home, it's collected and then processed, sorted, segregated with different facilities. And then for the glass, this is turned into powder and then pwede siyang ibaligya sa cement companies to be incorporated in their pangalan yan, and their cements. And then The other things, yung mga recyclable na mga plastic bottles, can be used up again, maybe, remolded again, and then to make new na mga stuff, 'di ba? Or repurposed. And then, of course, our role is to buy those recycled na mga stuff. Hindi tayo magiging choosy na parang gusto natin, parang dapat galing to sa, raw material and all. Because, pangalan, we have to close the loop, di ba? Meron nga tayong tinatawag na circular economy, di ba? Closing the loop of to achieve the circular economy. Okay. Then, you have already, pangalan yan, diverted the recyclables. Then, what about the non-recyclables, such as the residual wastes? So, you can send this or send them to, pangalan yan, highly intensive, high energy intensive na mga companies for them to, combust them and then use this as source of their fuel to generate energy. So what do we get from this? Heat, electricity, or fuel. And please don't, panic because they have, pangalan yan, technologies to filter out the harmful or hazardous na mga air contaminants so that afterwards, the fumes that will go out from their, factories are somewhat generally cleaner. Yes. So what are the industries that pangalan yan applies this or has applied this energy recovery process? These are the cement manufacturing companies, lime, steel manufacturing companies, glass, and power generation companies. So like for example, in Holcim, one of the partners of the Prime TP, they buy the non-recyclables of certain areas and then they combust it. Nakalimutan ko po ano yung Yes, basta sa next na lang na class ko kung ano yung pangalan ng process nila. Wait lang. I think I have notes here. For a while, ha? Facility. I see. Um, um, wala, hindi ko na note. Waste. Yeah, wala. So yeah. In our pangalan yan, in our municipality, they are planning to establish pangalan yan, a facility that can do pyrolysis like combustion and all para yung na lang, yung maiiwan na lang is the ash that has those, yung syempre hindi naman lahat ng so merong ash na lang, pero this ash contains, concentrated na mga pangalan yan, mga hazardous na mga chemicals or heavy metals per se. So, ang purpose lang nun is to, lessen the volume of waste that is being dumped to the, our open dump site, wala pa tayong sanitary landfill. But still, parang ganun pa rin. So, yeah. Next, after this is the last resort, diba? You have already taken out the biodegradables, recyclables, non-recyclables. Then, this is now the time for you to dispose and treat your remaining na mga wastes. So, before, yung common is the open dump sites. However, this is already prohibited. So that is the reason why pangalan yan. Kailangan na maggawa ng sanitary landfills. But pangalan yan, sanitary landfills could become a multipartite project. So when you say multipartite, this could be composed of 3 municipalities, hindi lang yung isa, para at least hindi masyadong magastos, something like that. In cities, they need to have their own, like for example, in Tacloban, they have their own sanitary landfill. In Ormoc, meron din sila. So, yeah. Generally, kasi, pangalan yan, cleaner or like more environment friendly ang sanitary landfill because they have this lining that prevents the leakages to percolate into the soil without doing anything, diba? And yes, that's it. As you can see here in the pangalan yan, waste management hierarchy scheme, there are actually different na mga sectors that are responsible. So, what could have been the gap of this? Like for example, barangays, households, dito na lang muna tayo sa barangay level. So, because there are a lot of things happening in the barangay. So, this has been, parang much less of a priority of. So, that is the reason why medyo hindi talaga effective yung implementation of this law. Okay. Aside from, pangalan yan, municipal solid waste, I have also discussed, di ba, kanina, how waste is generated from mining up to the refinery and production of raw product metals, raw metal products. So, this is, the traditional waste management hierarchy of mining metals. But this is the new hierarchy that is proposed, a reduction, reprocessing. When you say reprocessing, extract further valuable materials. So like for example, if merong other na mga valuable na mga metals in the ore, then sana iaano din to siya, pangalan yan, i-extract din, not just the specific target metal that is needed by that company. Then stockpiling, meaning storing, downcycling, used for a low purpose. So, like for example, road and construction. So, kung low grade lang na mga metal ang need, so pwede yan for pangalan yan, low purposes. And then lastly, remediation. So when you say remediation, pangalan yan, di ba? Bioremediation. You pangalan yan, you come up with some ways to lessen the impact of pangalan yan, of mining. So like for example, bioremediation, you introduce microorganisms that can transform these mining wastes into unneutralized na mga form, something like that. Okay. And then also, 'di ba, yung paper production, you can actually repurpose or convert the wastes that are generated from paper production, such as like for example, incorporate it in construction materials, nanocellulose, hydrochar, biofuels, 'di ba? Um, or heat and electricity and so much more. So in conclusion, solid waste is actually a complex problem that needs to have a multi-stakeholder engagement. So meaning it's not only the problem of the municipality or the barangay or the citizen. Everyone must take part in the in solving um our problem in solid waste management. So as you can see here, there are different layers. So it's like, pangalan yan, the onion that has different layers. So the core layers are the ones, pangalan yan, um, that is so much more important, that has a big role, the local government, especially in the implementation, public works, the pangalan yan, monitoring of its environment, and also the institutional waste, pangalan yan, generators. Ano pa? Then, multi-jurisdictional government bodies can work hand in hand to produce or establish generally more expensive na mga facilities such as landfills, anaerobic digesters, and composting facilities, diba? So if one municipality can't afford it, then why not make a MOA with several municipalities for this purpose? And then, of course, our national government um, has a big role in making that national na policy. So like for example, the Prime TP, their task is to get a baseline data for that represents well for the whole Philippines so that these data can be used for a nationwide plastic management or regulation policy because wala pa tayong national policy about plastic interventions, di ba? And then, ano pa? The academic institution, of course, also takes part in, collecting scientific data. What are the impacts of, solid waste, kapabayaan, solid waste kapabayaan. And then, it is actually from academic institutions where innovations, creative na mga pangalan yan, intellectual properties and models or pilot programs that have come from that may be usable, di ba? Or can be reflected into the society. So, and lastly, our residential waste generators, informal recycling workers, our commercial and industrial generators, institutional waste generators, every one of us must take part in solid waste management. So that would be all for this discussion. I hope you have learned one or two things, diba, from this. And Um, please prepare for the final examination next week. See you next week. Bye-bye.